So guys, welcome back to this amazing YouTube channel. Hope you guys are good. So in today's video, we're learning how to cut this bubu with a belt inside, like with a fitting inside the belt, a little bit of cowl down there, as you can see. That's what we'll be learning how to do. So I'll be teaching you guys how to insert your belt and the front slit as well. It has a front slit and then an opening at the upper part, the neck part here. So it's a very easy and simple tutorial. So that's what we will be learning how to cut. So wrapper is by 45 inches now, especially if you're working with just 3 yards of material. I folded my material in this with the width of the wrapper, that is 45 inches. I folded it like this. Is on a long version, in a longer version of the wrapper to get the full length. So this is how I did it. Then this remaining part, I'll also place it on top to make it equal. Yeah, to make it equal. So that's what we're doing at this point. We are adjusting our wrapper to get our length, the length of the wrapper, which it wasn't even enough. So I had to add something like to complete the length. I had to add up the wrapper to complete the actual length of the bubu we are making. So this is how to achieve it. It is very simple and easy to make. So this is it. I have adjusted it. This is the full length, which is not up to. So now what I will do is to open up that space. I would open up that space before inserting my measurements. What I did now was to check the length of my Ankara to know if it's up to the length of the person I'm making this dress for. Then I noticed it wasn't up to, then I had to, add it. Like I said, I added about 5 inches, 6 inches thereabout. In fact, I added 7 because I might not say a whole lot of things, to attach it and then the sewing, and so I added 7 inches to it to get my exact length after everything. So now I have to open up that piece because I'm cutting it piece by piece. Reason because it's going to have an open slit, a front slit. Sorry, it will have a front slit, and as well the neck part also we have an opening there. So that's why I had to share it like this, and then start inserting my measurements. I'm cutting it piece by piece, you get, because of the front slit. So I'm cutting it piece by piece. So I'm working on the front slit first. So what I did here is to minus, bring out 1.5 inch for my front slit. We're going to sew up, we're going to close up the space, but we're going to bring it out for our front slits, 1.5 for our front slit. So where I marked my front slit, where I minus that 1.5, on that line I'm inserting my shoulder measurement, kimono shoulder measurement. It starts at the center of the back to the length of where you want your sleeves to be. To get a kimono shoulder measurement, you start at the center of your back to the desired length of your sleeve. So I just marked it, then I came down at that point, at that hand, my sleeve point by 1 inch, so that I'll have a slant effect, like to slant it up. So now I'm inserting my round arm measurement. I used 12 inches there. So I'll insert my vertical measurement, which is my bust measurement, with my 4 inches allowance for my bubu. So at this shoulder part, I curved it over there. I'll take the camera closer so that you see what I did. So this is the 1 inch shoulder slant I came down with to meet the top of that. I started my measurement from this line. Then I measured my arm, my round arm. I measured 12 inches there. Then I measured my bust measurement, starting from that -1. line that is there, 10.5 with my additional sewing allowance. Then at this point I have to curve it like this, just as you can see clearly. I curved it so it won't have a straight shape. Like, that's the necessity, you need to curve it. Then after cutting it, I added this small cowl effect to it. I don't want it to be just straight, I don't want it, I want it to have a little bit of cowl effect there. So I added that one. So here, minus my round neck, I'll come down by um 3 or 4 inches to get my opening at the front. So after that, I brought in this the back part of this clothes. We are cutting the back part. How we'll do it is just placing the front to the back minus our 1.5 inch we minus earlier for my slits. So you minus that part and then place your material on the back part. It's just as simple as that. Either you fold it in or you just take it out like this, the way I'm doing it right now. I minus my 1.5 inch for my slit and then made it equal. So after doing that, I'll just cut. Then the back depth is just 1 inch, 1 inch depth. Then the same width, it's 3.5. So I'm just cutting it at this point. So I told you guys that the length of this material is not enough. So this is me replacing it with this. Not that it's not going to be, it's not visible. Yeah, if I had not said it now, you won't know. So this is my interface. This is what I'll be using for my interface for the front, and I also have for the back as well. If you're not new to this channel, you should be well you should be well aware on how to fix this interface, on how to cut it, on how to sew it as well. It is not a new thing in this channel. So this is where I'll start my sewing, at this 8 inches line or at 9 inches. It depends on how deep, like how you want that place to be. If you want it to show any part of your, yeah. So this is what I'll be using for my belt. I'll just sew it by the side there to cover it up. That's what I'll be using for my belt. It's just 2 piece and it's 30 inches long. So this is my front interface. I've already attached it, and then I top stitch on the lining. I top stitched on the lining. Look at it here. I top stitch on the lining. You don't top stitch on the actual fabric, on the main fabric, so that your work will be very neat. The rope won't show at the front neck of the clothes. So this is the addition, like the to complete my full length. This is it here. I'll be adding it up here. I'll sew it and iron it properly. So at this point, I was done sewing my rope. This is how to turn out this rope to the front part. It is very easy like this. If you don't have this short thing I'm using, this screw, you can use a very strong broom to bring it out. A very strong, long broom to bring it out. Depends on the length of the rope you want to turn out, like turn the right part. We do it like this. I decided to add this here so that you guys will see how to turn out a rope, like very, very easy, just like this. You get the mouth, like the beginning of the clothes outside through that opening there, and then start dragging it. It's very easy to make. So in case you don't know how to do this, you've learned it here. You've learned it here, because this is a well detailed tutorial. So this is the front. I've joined my interface. Then the next thing I'll do now is to place it together. And so on this, remember our 1.5 minus now. We're going to sew on the line, and we start sewing from 8 inches, or either 8 or 9, as you can see. Either I start from that first line or I start from this second line now. Either I start sewing from there or I start sewing from the up part. Then for my slit in front, this is how I do place my tape to get my slit. I placed my tape um from the down part and then got my desired slit opening, like where the client wants it. Yeah. So I placed the beginning of tape at the down part of the material to get 21. I think 21. Okay, 21 is for back, normal standard slit for me. Then for front, you can get 18 and above, depends, like I said, on what the client wants. So I am done joining the front parts together. They are now a piece now. See it, I've joined it, and this is the down slit, and this is the upper opening point. So after doing that, what I'll do now is to join the shoulder to shoulder. Join my shoulder to shoulder, and that is it. We are done. So if you have watched to this point, do well to like, share, and subscribe. So now, how to hem your sleeves. How to hem your sleeves, how to fold in your sleeves. I'll be showing you guys in a bit now. I'll open up this place just as I've opened it up. I'll fold in half an inch, as you can see, 0.5. Then I'll fold in 1 inch, that is 1.5 inches inside. That is how to fold your sleeves. Depends on the allowance you brought out for the folding. So let me measure it for you to see. It's 1 inch, right? Yeah, plus the half inch inside, that is 1.5 inches for the folding, for hemming of your sleeves. So when I was done sewing all this, the sleeves, everything, the next thing I need to do now is to insert my bust measurement, my actual bust measurement, now divided into two, and I will sew it like this on it. And after that, the main zigzag point, the main part we all have been waiting for, is to insert our belt. Now we're going to insert our belt by taking down our half length measurement. As you can see, my tape did not get to that point of the material. I placed my tape on the sewed part to get my half length, and even my half length, I went up by 1 inch. Do you get? For instance, if your half length is 16, I'll go up by 15. It gives it a perfect finishing, like a perfect fittings. Then at this center point, what you do to know how to insert your belt, you divide your waist measurement into four, and then insert it like into four. Then you insert here from this center point. Now from this center point, you insert about 6, and the other side 6. It depends on what you get. Share it and insert side by side. 6 here, 6 here. You can get 7, 7. You can get 8, 8. Just insert it at each of the sides. Then attach your belt, and so that is just all for this video. It's very, very easy to make. It's very, very easy to do. So guys, I'm done sewing this. So we've come to the end of this video. Try to like, share, and subscribe. Click on notification bell to get notified whenever a new video is being posted. See you guys next week, Monday, by the grace of God. Then if there's any video you want me to do, you can let me know in the comment section. Okay, try to like the videos, oh please. Try to like this. Bye guys.